Hello, today on Community Affairs with Diane, I'd like to introduce our guest, Rebecca Thomas, from the organization Reverse Legalization Now. Rebecca is a bright, energetic young woman who is 19 years old and currently enrolled into the University of North Texas. She spends her spare time working with the local police department of her hometown catch and arrest users of marijuana, and she educates people of the dangers of hemp use. She has seen firsthand the horrors of what the marijuana algae use does to families. She recently took the first step of reporting her own sister to the proper authorities when she discovered that her sister had been using ganja hemp. So, Rebecca, could you please tell us a little bit more about when you discovered your sister had been using marijuana?
Well, Diane, I noticed my sister had been acting rather strange over a period of a few months, and she met this new group of friends that listened to this horrible satanic reggae band called Subliminal that put subliminal messages in their music and told people it was okay to smoke and inject weed and worship Satan. So I began spying on her. My sister started believing that evolution is real and listening to the false prophecies of the satanic prophet Charles Darwin, who was specifically mentioned by our pastor as the Antichrist.
Really?
I hid in her closet and I waited for her and her degenerate friends to come into the bedroom. They placed this 3-foot-tall bong needle in the center of the bedroom and started injecting the joints through a tube into their tongue. In the middle of their session, I came out of the closet and I yelled, "You're all in big trouble!" And at this point, their eyes were red as they were all possessed by Satan and they were about to attack me. Luckily, I had my cross around my neck. So I pulled it out of my shirt, held it out, and said, "Move away, Satan!" The cross held them back long enough to where they could not come near me, and I was able to escape and go tell my parents, who then called the police and had them sent away to juvenile hall.
Wow, Rebecca, that's a really sad story. But at least you did what was right. So, do you still speak to your sister after what happened on that day?
My sister is dead, Diane. Everyone knows that when one partakes of marijuana, the bong junkie is no longer a human being and is therefore no longer alive. My parents and grandparents have both cut her out of their wills, and we decided the best way to remember her is to forget her existence, as it is too painful to remember someone who used to be a person, but became a pot injector.
So, could you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing, the wonderful things that you're doing to combat marijuana and the people that use it?
Well, Diane, I get up early every morning and I go into the neighborhoods that look like marijuana addicts may be thriving in them. I look for unkempt yards, trash, things that point out that the owner of the home in question is more concerned with shooting bong than actually taking care of the property. I knock on doors and ask people questions, and if I smell Satan's salad when they open the door, I blow my report whistle. And if that doesn't work, I whip out my phone and I call the police. Oh, I also hand out pamphlets to those who don't partake of marijuana to help them identify users in the neighborhoods and effectively report them to the police.
Wow, you're really dedicated to your cause.
I am.
May I ask, what would you do if for some reason the nation decided to legalize marijuana for adult recreational use?
Like that would ever happen. Look, as long as people like you and me who are dedicated to educating the masses about the true dangers of marijuana are around, it will never become legal at the federal level. Legalization has already proven to be a disaster in the states that made the mistake of legalizing it at the state level. Look at Colorado and Washington. Mm-hmm. Both states are overrun with marijuana addicts, overdosing, and committing violent crimes, as well as the constant explosions of hemp labs. And state legislators are just scratching their heads trying to figure out ways to undo the damage that Lucifer's lettuce has already caused. The solution to this problem is very simple. The feds need to come in and strike down the amendments that made marijuana legal at the state level to begin with.
I agree. Nancy Grace has spoken out numerous times how people kill each other when they're using pot bong. When you have a smart, educated person like Nancy Grace speaking out against marijuana legalization, you know that it must be that bad. So, how many people have you helped into the rehabilitation process since you reported your sister?
I'd say I've helped over about 60 people, if I were to make a rough estimate. The sad part about the whole thing is that not one of them has ever said, "Thank you for saving me from my addiction to hemp injections and having the police arrest me for the safety of myself and others, Rebecca." They have only threatened to kill me and called me names that I will not say, for I am a child of the Lord and only clean, godly words come out of my mouth.
Well, at least I can say that this only proves the violent nature of marijuana use. I've heard all the propaganda claiming that people that use marijuana are calm, peaceful people. Why do you think people buy into the lies?
The sad part about this, Diane, is the fact that some people really don't know all that much about hemp bong. Sure, they have programs like DARE and all that dedicated to educating people about drugs like marijuana in schools, but they tend to leave out important details about bong joint. Like how one toke will make you go into a violent rampage and kill those around you, or how it makes the taste of human flesh appealing. None of that is ever mentioned once, and it's truly disappointing because it makes children think, geez, it can't be that bad, so it won't kill me to try it just once. This is exactly why people are addicted to the reefer cactus in the first place. And I think it's time that we make an actual effort to step out and reach out to children and tell them the real truth about weed hemps. Yes, you will kill people. And no, you are no longer a person once you partake of it. I think if more people knew this, there would be a lot less temptation to try it.
With all the good that you're doing for communities, there must be a lot of cannabis criminals talking all kind of bad things about you. Do you deal with a lot of controversy?
Oh, I get bong rage from reefer creeps all the time. I get called snitch, narc, goody, and a lot of things that I take as compliments. Really though, I'm not a total goody. I can be a little deviant every once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
One time, I prank called this business and I asked to speak to Amanda Hug and Kiss. Get it? Amanda Hug and Kiss? Oh, and also went on this church camping retreat not too long ago, and I stayed up past 10 o'clock with a few of the other people.
Wow.
Out of the blue, I just stood up on my sleeping bag and put a pair of shorts on my head, and I started doing this crazy dance. I can get pretty wild. It was so spontaneous.
Wow, that's really something. So, what are your plans, Rebecca? I know you have, lots of goals and aspirations, not only with your organization, but with your personal life and your career.
Well, Diane, I graduate in 2 years from college. And after that, I'll be dedicating more of my time to reverse legalization now. And hopefully I'll land a sweet job in an accounting firm as a secretary. I'm currently in a wonderful relationship with a wonderful young man. And he enjoys nothing more than seeking out marijuana addicts and beating them with his fists while Toby Keith plays from the stereo in his lifted truck. And then calling the police on them. I find him so attractive when he serves much needed justice to bong addicts.
Well, I'm glad you have such a great outlook on life. And I wish you well in your endeavors.
Thank you.
Well, it seems as if that's all the time we have for today on Community Affairs with Diane. But stay tuned tomorrow when I interview big pharmaceutical giant Chipper Goodman.